9 Years of Shadows is a smooth and retro-looking Metroidvania with creative level design and some really memorable boss fights. You play as Europa, a young woman determined to stop the curse that has killed her parents, and in order to do so, she has to enter the castle on top of a dormant giant, where the core of the corruption is. Along the way you will meet many interesting characters, and one of them is this floating teddy bear called Apino. With the aid of Apino and all these different elemental armor sets, you are finally ready to bring an end to this curse for good. The story has some nice elements, but it is a bit predictable if I'm really honest. The gameplay, however, or certain mechanics really surprised me though. Apino gives you this shield, and only when your shield is gone and you don't have enough time to regenerate it, you will lose health. Later on in the game, you get this ability that lets you reload your shield to full in an instant if you time it correctly. The timing is always random, so even when you think you are ready for it, you can still mess it up. This is not a big deal if you are in a safe situation, but messing it up while fighting a boss or while in a different stressful situation can cause your death. But I really liked having this possibility. If you are really good at timing this instant shield regeneration, you will basically never die. Apino also gives you the ability to shoot projectiles, but this will cost you a bit of shield each time. Shooting these projectiles at the right moment required a bit of strategy and shield management, and this is a really clever design choice in my opinion. Another mechanic I really like, and this is why I enjoyed the level design so much, is the addition of these elemental armor sets. They all have their own unique abilities, but not all of them are unlocked immediately. Instead, you have to enter a realm by traveling through a portrait, and inside this realm you will be able to unlock a specific armor's full capability. Like transforming into a mermaid and having the ability to swim and going up waterfalls, or gliding slowly downwards and using warm air currents to gain height again. They all are fun to use, and the game automatically switches to the right armor if you have unlocked it. So you can imagine this made the gameplay very fluid and exciting. There are some areas where quickly switching between all these armor sets is necessary, and these moments were my favorite for sure. Especially some boss fights really had some interesting and creative designs, and harming them or dodging their attacks required a lot of quick thinking and using the right armor. I really liked this chess boss, for example. It was a nice breath of fresh air, and even though I died a few times, I really enjoyed this creative fight. The basic combat is a bit button mashy though. I really expected you to do more combos and other awesome moves, but it's mainly just pressing one or two buttons over and over again. The elemental armor sets don't change your attacks, they only change the look of your attacks, and they let you harm an enemy if the enemy has a specific colored outline. I was a bit disappointed by the combat, but the switching between all the different armor sets made it just exciting enough in my opinion. Exploring the map is pretty fun to do, especially helping these musicians by defeating these hidden optional bosses or finding these blue or red music notes so you can upgrade your shield and health. But backtracking is barely needed in order to do this. Most of the time you have the right ability already, but there are some hidden rooms that you can miss, and then you have to backtrack. But backtracking is in my opinion not really enjoyable in this game, because of the long load times. It really breaks the flow of the game. Especially when you die during a boss fight and respawning takes a minute. I understand loading everything in needs some time, but this is a bit ridiculous. I also had some moments where the game just crashed randomly, and sometimes even when I got killed by a boss. This is a shame, because it really hurts the overall experience. I don't know if it can be patched, but if it can, it would be highly appreciated. So in general, 9 Years of Shadows is overall a really solid Metroidvania. I have nothing bad to say about the presentation. The game looks great, the sound design and the music is pretty awesome, the level design is fun and innovative, and the combat is a bit basic but has a few twists. But I do think the long loading screens are really annoying, and the random crashes can cause a bit of anxiety, because they can happen at random. I also think it's pretty linear for a Metroidvania, and the backtracking aspect isn't really well executed. Nevertheless, I still recommend this game if you like Metroidvanias or action platformers in general. The elemental armor sets are really fun to use. Apino's mechanics are also a nice addition. And some boss fights are really creative and a nice breath of fresh air. So be ready to enter this giant mysterious castle and use the elements and Alpino's power to bring color back to this cursed world, so you can finally avenge your parents after 9 years of shadows.